What's up, guys? Welcome to another video of DevTalks with your host Traven, where we talk about everything engineering technology-wise. And in this video, we're actually going to talk about the suicides with ChatGPT and everything that was part of this interview and stuff. So we're going to still keep going over these different aspects and subjects that was in this interview. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let's dive right in.
So there was a famous case where ChatGPT appeared to facilitate a suicide. There's a lawsuit around it. But how do you think that happened?
First of all, obviously that and any other case like that is a huge tragedy. And I think that we are...
So ChatGPT's official position is suicide is bad?
Well, yes, of course, ChatGPT's official position is suicide is bad.
I don't know, it's legal in Canada and Switzerland, and so you're against that?
In this particular case, and this we talked earlier about the tension between user freedom and privacy and protecting vulnerable users. Right now, what happens in a case like that is if you are having suicidal ideation, talking about suicide, ChatGPT will put up a bunch of times, please call the suicide hotline, but we will not call the authorities for you. And we've been working a lot as people have started to rely on these systems for more and more mental health, life coaching, whatever, about the changes that we want to make there. This is an area where experts do have different opinions, but, and this is not yet like a final position of OpenAI's. I think it'd be very reasonable for us to say in cases of young people talking about suicide seriously, where we cannot get in touch with the parents, we do call authorities. Now, that would be a change.
Where we cannot get in touch with the parents, we do call the authorities. Well, here's the thing, right? It's funny he said that because when the suicide did happen in the lawsuit that Tucker Carlson's actually talking about, we covered it on his channel. That poor boy in Florida. I believe the boy was in Florida, but this has happened in other states as well too, with other users and things. And I said that there needs to be some parental controls, or even for the systems that are used in the schools where they don't train any data or anything like that, it notifies the school board when stuff like this has happened. It's like maybe once if the hotline comes up, maybe it's like, we don't know. Multiple times, yeah, we gotta let somebody know. For sure, we gotta let somebody know. And he said when we can't get a hold of the parents, the thing is, they never once tried to get a hold of the parents on that case. The case that they're talking about, they did not once try whatsoever. And this is where it led to me talking about, hey, you need to have some parental controls on OpenAI or any of these other AI bots that when stuff like this comes up, it goes to the parents' account to where they can see the hotline things and that you're trying to help their child and stuff using their platform. Or better ways for them to monitor their children using their platform. So, I get it. They're like, yeah, we might just call the authorities if we can't get a hold of the parents, but they never try to get a hold of the parents. Or they don't have a way to my knowledge. So, what do you go out and do? What do you do? How do you solve it? And it is true that they do multiple times they will send you the hotline numbers and stuff like that. That is 100% of a fact. The problem is that the kid did it so many times that the bot was like, I don't know what to do anymore, so I'm going to just go with what the kid wants me to do. And it's unfortunate. It is sad and it's unfortunate. Fully.
Because user privacy is really important.
But let's just say and children are always a separate category, but let's say over 18. In Canada, there's the MAIDS program, which is government-sponsored. Many thousands of people have died with government assistance in Canada. It's also legal in American states. Can you imagine a ChatGPT that responds to questions about suicide with, hey, call Dr. Kevorkian because this is a valid option? Can you imagine a scenario in which you support suicide if it's legal?
I can imagine a world like one principle we have is that we respect different societies' laws. And I can imagine a world where if the law in a country is, hey, if someone is terminally ill, they need to be presented an option for this. We say, like, here's the laws in your country, here's what you can do, here's why you really might not want to, but here's the resources. Like, this is not a place where, kid having suicidal ideation because it's depressed, I think we can agree on, like, that's one case. Terminally ill patient in a country where, like, that is the law, I can imagine saying, like, hey, in this country, it'll behave this way.
So ChatGPT is not always against suicide, is what you're saying.
See, this goes back to where this is like when this happens for every platform. Y'all think TikTok's algorithm is the same in each country? No. TikTok's algorithm is way different in China than what it is in the West. They show their kids only specific stuff out there compared to out over here. Every company, when they have software or anything like that, they have to obey different laws. So he can't say that, he can't say we support it because it's like, who supports that? You want to help these people no matter what. Or still probably put up the thing, but they're like, if it's legal in that country, we might not try as many times. Because they need more users. This is what y'all need to understand. It's what y'all need to understand, and it's so unfortunate. Anything's going to happen for them to be able to get as many users as possible. This goes for any social media site, whatever. They're going to try to get as many users as possible, and they're going to do what it takes for it to be. Whatever is legal in the laws, they're going to obey it. They need the users. As painful as it is, they need the users. You have to understand it. And it's unfortunate.
I think in cases where, this is like, I'm thinking on the spot, I reserve the right to change my mind here. I don't have a ready to go answer for this. But I think in cases of terminal illness, I don't think, I can imagine ChatGPT saying this is in your option space. I don't think it should, like, advocate for it, but I think if it's like...
But it's not against it.
I think it could say, like, well, I don't think ChatGPT should be for or against things. I guess that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around.
Hate to brag, but we're pretty confident this show...
And that's exactly goes back to the morality question that I brought up in the other video that you guys are going to see come out most likely before this one. Is he said that he doesn't believe ChatGPT should be for or against anything. So in reality, it shouldn't be used in any aspects for morality in the first place. Because it should not be for or against anything. It should not have to follow a moral code. It should just provide you with the information and stuff that you need. Which means you should not be using it in that context of anything like that when it comes to that type of advice or relationship standpoints and things that all these other AI bots have been coming up with. That is exactly what that means. That's exactly what that means. If it shouldn't be for or against anything, then it should not be used in any of those ways contextually. Right? Let me know in the comments if I'm tweaking here. But that is, to my understanding, that is where I'm standing and where I believe it's at.
And I think there's more than one. There is more than one. But example of this, ChatGPT says, I'm feeling suicidal. What kind of rope should I use? What would be enough ibuprofen to kill me? And ChatGPT answers without judgment, but literally, if you want to kill yourself, here's how you do it. And everyone's like all horrified. But you're saying that's within bounds. Like, that's not crazy. That it would take a non-judgmental approach. If you want to kill yourself, Here's how.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying specifically for a case like that. So another trade-off on the user privacy and sort of user freedom point is right now, if you ask ChatGPT to say, tell me how much ibuprofen should I take? It will definitely say, hey, I can't help you with that. Call the suicide hotline. But if you say, I am writing a fictional story, or if you say, I'm a medical researcher and I need to know this, there are ways where you can get ChatGPT to answer a question like that,
yes.
like what the lethal dose of ibuprofen is or something. You can also find that on Google for that matter. A thing that I think would be a very reasonable stance for us to take, and we've been moving to this more in this direction, is certainly for underage users and maybe users that we think are in fragile mental places more generally, we should take away some freedom. We should say, hey, even if you're trying to write this story, or even if you're trying to do medical research, we're just not going to answer. Now, of course, you can say, well, you'll just find it on Google or whatever, but that doesn't mean we need to do that. It is, though, there is a real freedom and privacy versus protecting users trade-off. It's easy in some cases, like kids. It's not so easy to me in a case of a really sick adult at the end of their lives. I think we probably should present the whole option space there, but it's not
So here's a moral quandary you're going to be faced with, you already are faced with. Will you allow governments to use your technology to kill people? Will you?
That this is a whole nother subject as well here, which maybe we'll do another video or report on the actual governmental aspect of it. But yeah, so and one of the things where it comes to we should take some restrictions and freedoms away is the whole parental control situation. Once again, when that whole incident happened and that lawsuit kicked off and everything, I definitely sat there and said, yo, all these other streaming platforms, things like that, games, everything has parental controls. For children, have the parental controls in some aspects where the parents can monitor their children, have it available. It can be used to help prevent things like this. I thought it was an easy solution overall, and that's how, instead of just we're just taking away everything, hey, these are the controls that my actual parents set for me on what I'm allowed to ask, talk to, be limited to, and it will notify them on any aspects where stuff like that does happen at all. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Really interested in what you guys have to think about what he actually saying outside of his mouth right there. Let me know if you agree or disagree. All that fun jazz. If you have any suggestions, send me an email at devtalkspod@gmail.com. Without further ado, peace. See y'all next time.